Scientists have now created something that looks like no ordinary robot. This robot can shape shift. What is shape shifting? Basically transform from solid to liquid states. Scientists at the Chinese, Hong Kong and American universities worked on the study. They created the robot using a composite of metals with a low melting point. This is the first time a material that can shift shape and carry heavy loads has been identified for microbots. It is a major breakthrough because it makes it possible to combine shape shifting and strength in the design of the robots. When the robot transforms into liquid, it can merge, it can also be elongated, meaning it can also slide through the bars, like you see here, and then it can turn solid.
Go.
They're the same picture.
But this invention means it can benefit mankind. They can morph shape, they can move pretty fast, it can be used to reach spaces that are usually tough to get to. It can be used in clinical settings, biomedicine. It also means the robots can jump, climb. The possibilities are endless.
The second shot is effective, exposing Karatis to another attack.
This is not a scene from a Transformers movie. It's an actual battle of robots. Look at this, how these two giant, heavily armed robots take on each other.
Those 6 barrels can fire up to 2,000 rounds per minute. That could easily take out Eagle Prime's cameras.
And they can switch to modern weapons as well. This is just one example of how dangerous robots can get.
Karatis keeps unloading on Eagle Prime relentlessly.
What's even more worrying, killer robots, also known as lethal autonomous weapon systems, are now here. Let's first understand how deadly they could be. AI-powered robots are now emerging as weapons of war. They're themselves decision makers. These systems have the ability to navigate on their own. They can use artificial intelligence to identify a target. These machines can select whom to kill. Interestingly, they can do all of that without any human intervention.
Are you username LadiesMan217?
I don't know what you're talking
Are
about.
you username LadiesMan217?
Yeah?
Where is the eBay item 21153? Where are the glasses?
What's even worse, these lethal autonomous weapon systems can take the form of drones, tanks, and even submarines. It's not just one company or country that is developing such dangerous robots. Several nations are investing in the technology to develop lethal weapons. So far, countries such as Israel, Russia, and South Korea have reportedly deployed weapons with autonomous capabilities, though it's disputed whether the autonomous mode has ever been active. The Netherlands has become the first NATO country to deploy armed ground robots. They, however, have currently been deployed for experimental use. It's believed that Australia, Britain, China, and the United States are also investing heavily in developing such lethal robotic weapons. The bigger concern here is that once these technologies have been widely adopted, it will be difficult to control them. Those who possess this technology could enjoy advantage over those who don't. Also, the development of killer robots raises profound ethical and safety questions. Such autonomous weapons raise risks for civilians. pose problems for accountability and increase the chances of conflict escalation. What's even scarier is that there are no compelling laws to regulate if things go wrong.
These robots defuse bombs. They give police a closer look at an active crime scene. And now?
It passes unanimously.
San Francisco's police force will have the ability to use them as potential lethal force options. But that decision wasn't made lightly. We heard passionate arguments and clarifications coming from both sides.
You got to recognize they will be disproportionately used against black and brown communities.
A new state law now requires law enforcement to have public discussions when acquiring and utilizing military-grade weapons. That's what happened here. And the plan passed only after an amendment clarifies robots would only be used as a lethal option after the use of alternative force and de-escalation tactics, or if police determine they are not able to subdue the threat safely after evaluating other options. Supervisor Shaman Walton was one of 3 against the plan. In a statement, he wrote in part, "This is not in line with making changes to address the disproportionate number of black people and people of color that are typically on the receiving end when police weapons are utilized."